And right now, I am joined by the president of the Negro League Museum. He is a member of the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame. He was an inductee back in 2014 for his role in what he has done as a sports administrator, but more importantly, what he has done for the Negro League Baseball Museum in Kansas City, Missouri. It is a phenomenal place. I've heard great stories about it. I got to go out there and visit it myself. But Bob Kendrick joins us on the Braden Soprenet Show as we talk about the East-West Classic coming up for the second annual East-West Classic, which will happen on June 19th, on Juneteenth, at Rickwood Field, the legendary field. We're going to get you a full preview with that. But let's introduce our guest, Bob. Bob, what's going on? How's your Tuesday going?
Well, Tuesday's going pretty good, and thanks so much for having me on the show.
I appreciate you coming on. I mean, there's a lot of great things to talk about when it comes to the history of the Negro Leagues and celebrating the history of the Negro Leagues. And you have been part of this museum in Kansas City for a long time now. I know there's a lot of people that would like to go check it out, but how did this museum come about? How did the Negro League Museum, be established? And what are some of the cool things about what this museum is in Kansas City?
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I've been involved with this museum. It's hard for me to believe for 32 years. I started as a volunteer in 1993. Who knew? And of course, now I have the tremendous honor of trying to lead what I think is one of the most important cultural institutions in the world, that being the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum, because it brings a story that had unfortunately escaped the pages of American history books. And that's the incredible story of the Negro Leagues, a league that was established right here in Kansas City on February 13th, 1920, just around the corner from where we currently operate. So we operate in the exact same area that Andrew Root Foster established the Negro National League in 1920. The Negro Leagues would operate amazingly, folks, for 40 years, from 1920 until 1960. And so it had a tremendous run. And of course, it gave some of the greatest Black and Hispanic athletes an opportunity to showcase their world class baseball abilities. This museum brings that story to life. And so you're going to come here and you're going to meet some of the greatest baseball players to ever put on a baseball uniform. But as I remind folks, by the time you leave, you walk away with a much deeper, richer appreciation for just how special this country really is. Because this is not a sad story, it is a triumphant story. You won't let me play with you? I'll create a league of my own. And that's exactly what they did.
Talking with Bob Kendrick, who's the Negro League Museum president on the here on the Braden Soprenet Show. We got a big event coming up. It's now the second annual East-West Classic. Our friend here, Tony Gwynn Jr., participated in it last year. But the East-West Classic, give us a little breakdown of how this came about, why the game was established, and why they play it at the historic Rickwood Field.
Well, last year it was introduced as a showcase event in Cooperstown alongside the opening of their new Negro Leagues exhibit, Souls of the Game. And I was very fortunate to be there for the opening of the exhibition and to see this showcase event that was really kind of orchestrated by my dear friend, the great C.C. Sabathia and Ryan Howard. And of course, both of them are intimately involved in this game that will be played at Rickwood Field this year. And of course, Rickwood is the oldest active professional ballpark in the country. And last year, it was host to that epic national, international salute to the Negro Leagues that was put together to really pay tribute to Willie Mays. And you may recall that Mr. Mays passed away 2 days before we actually had that game. And for those who don't know, a 17-year-old Willie Mays would begin his career at Rickwood Field, patrolling center field for the Birmingham Black Barons in the Negro Leagues. And so I was thrilled to see that they are going to host another East-West All-Star game. This comes from the vaunted All-Star game that was created in the Negro Leagues in 1933, the same year as Major League Baseball's All-Star game. And as I remind my guests, yes, it did outdraw Major League Baseball's All-Star game. Fellas, they put over 50,000 fans in Chicago's Comiskey Park. And so to see CC and Ryan pull together some of their contemporaries to put on those uniforms and to recreate what was one of the greatest sporting events in American sports history, but nobody knew anything about it. It has been magical. Last year was so special that they wanted to do it again, and I hope they'll continue to do this for years to come because it's a tremendous way to pay tribute to, again, one of the greatest sporting events that virtually no one knew anything about, the old East-West All-Star Game.
Well, this one coming up on Juneteenth at Rickwood Field has a lot of great players from Major League Baseball of years past that are playing in this particular game. You mentioned, CC and Ryan Howard, some of the guys. But how are the teams that are they the ones that send the invites out? How do they
Yep.
determine who gets to play and how do they pick up their teams?
Yeah, no, that's exactly what they do. They send an invite out, and anybody who wants to play, who's able to play, can play. Yeah, and out in you all's neck of the woods, my dear friend Jerry Harrison Jr. will be there. Scott Harrison, of course, their grandfather, the late great Sam Harrison, played in the Negro Leagues. They're from 5 generations of professional Harrison ball players, and Sam played there at Rickwood Field at one point in time. And what a legacy moment that will be for them. But yeah, they go out, they send the word around, and I think they had so much fun last year, and no one got seriously hurt. That's the best part about it, because when you've been away from the game, but then when you get back in it, the adrenaline starts to flow, and you start to think that you could do things that you used to do when you were doing them, and so no one got hurt, but they had such a tremendous time that they wanted to do it again, and like I said, I hope that they will continue to bring this event to the forefront as a tribute to the history of the Negro Leagues.
Well, the rosters you can go find on MLB.com. They have the events page on there, MLB.com/events/Rickwood. It does have the rosters on there. And for maybe a lot of people here in San Diego that want to be able to watch it, is there any way you can watch from a distance?
Yeah, I think the game is going to be televised on the MLB Network. And so you should be able to see the game as it is happening, certainly a delayed version of the game. And, I'm a little disappointed because I'm not going to be able to be at Rickwood because I had an unfortunate knee surgery, which I'm going to actually have to have another surgery. And so I'm not going to be able to be there in attendance. And that's so tremendously disappointing for me, but I will be there in spirit. It would be great to be there with all of my dear friends because they're doing something special and meaningful. And anytime that we can give Negro Leagues history a mainstream voice, it is welcomed by this museum. It just continues to raise the profile and the interest in this subject matter. And I've always believed that there was never a time that people didn't want to know about the Negro Leagues. They just had no way to know about the Negro Leagues until this museum really stepped to the forefront, and now it's starting to gain notoriety.
Talking with Bob Kendrick, the Negro League Museum president, joining us on the Braden Soprenet Show. Bob, there was a couple of exhibits that were, here in San Diego and that are still here at the San Diego Public Library. How do you guys put exhibits out there outside of just Kansas City where you guys are located? Are there any more that go around the country? How do you guys, what are some of the events that you guys put on outside of obviously the East-West Classic, but some of the other ways that people maybe local to them can go out and learn more about the Negro Leagues?
Yeah, no, we've been very fortunate that we have built these traveling exhibitions. And so you're right, we've had a tremendous run there in San Diego with our Barrier Breaker exhibit. That's at the San Diego Public Library. It will be there through June 20th. So for those who are listening, you still have an opportunity to get down to the library and check it out. It is an extraordinary exhibition that celebrates all of Major League Baseball's integration pioneers, those players who broke their respective color barriers with each of their major league teams. Because we know Jackie Robinson's story. And if you don't know Jackie's story, you've got films, you've got books that you can turn to. But when we talk about Larry Doby, very few folks understand the significance of Larry Doby's pioneering role. He would integrate the American League just weeks after Jackie breaks the color barrier in the National League with the Cleveland Indians. And he has been the forgotten man, but that's kind of how we are. in our society. We always celebrate the first. We rarely ever remember the second. And as you can well imagine, if the number 16, you can pretty much forget it. Nobody ever talks about you. And we wanted to tell their story because it didn't get any easier for Elijah Pumpsy Green, who would complete the integration cycle with the Boston Red Sox in 1959. 12 years after Jackie breaks the color barrier, Boston would be the last team to sign a black ball player, again in Pumpsy Green. And they all had their trials and tribulations as they were trying to blaze their path to pursue their major league careers. And their stories deserve to be more than just a footnote in baseball and American history. And so we decided to create this traveling exhibition. It has been touring around the country. It is one of 7 national traveling exhibitions that we've created. And we still have designs to build at least 2 to 3 more over the next 5 years, because as much as I want everyone to come to Kansas City, I know that's not possible. We didn't want to leave this history isolated in Kansas City. So we found unique ways to tell the story and get them out to the public. And maybe that will whet your appetite to the point that you will want to come to Kansas City. And I just think it's also part of what, as a teaching institution, is what we need to do and have to do.
Last thing for you, Bob, for everybody that does want to go to Kansas City and check out this museum, what is the best way to do that, to plan the trip? Where's the best website to go check out?
You can check us out at www.nlbm.com to learn what's happening at the Negro League Baseball Museum, to make a contribution to support the Negro League Baseball Museum, to look at when you might want to come to Kansas City to enjoy this museum. You can build it around the baseball schedule. And, you know, if your team is coming in to play the Royals, or you just want to go to a major league game, come in, tour the Negro League Baseball Museum, eat some great Kansas City barbecue, and then go watch a baseball game. I don't know if it gets any better than that.
I don't think it does. I don't think it does, Bob. I'm looking forward to potentially going out there. I want to go check it out. I've heard a lot of great things about it, so it should be a good time. We put the link on our YouTube page and in our Twitch page. Bob, we appreciate the time as always, and look forward to talking to you again.
Hey, man, anytime. Thank you guys again for the opportunity. And I look forward at some point in time to welcoming you to Kansas City.
I look forward to it, Bob. Thanks again.
All right, appreciate it, guys.
Bob Kendrick, Negro League Museum president, joining us on the Braden Soprenet Show.